32-year-old and I'm from Redcar.
Tell me, Kelly, a little bit about your problems, your history, what caused you to choose physio, and basically just a little bit of an insight to the person watching the video, why you needed to go for physio.
Okay. Well, I was working full time and I was about 20 weeks pregnant when I started developing what we call PGP or SPD. My pelvis started to hurt and I found it very difficult to get around the house, get around the office, just generally moving around. Sleep was practically impossible. Every time I turned over in bed it hurt a lot, and that was affecting my day-to-day life, looking after my other son and getting to work and everything because I was so tired. I went to the NHS and spoke to my midwife and asked for some assistance, and the NHS did send me to a physio who gave me a leaflet on exercises but didn't really go through them, and said just to come back if there was any further problems, and handed me a belt to wear. As the weeks progressed, my SPD got a lot worse, so I ended up speaking to our HR for the company that I work for, and they have links with the physio company, which obviously I got sent to. Once I started seeing Sammy for the physio, we did lots of different exercises which she carefully went through with me. She did all the movements with me, showed me how to do them correctly, and gave me advice all the way along and explained how the exercises are actually benefiting me and monitored my progress.
Did you think, or were you led to believe that once you had your baby, the pain would go?
I was told that very quickly. I was told maybe in a few weeks, months afterwards, the pain would go. I wasn't given any further care from the NHS. They didn't say continue with the exercises. You read in the magazines, they say about the pelvic floor muscle exercises, but that's about it. They don't go on about all the other core muscles that you do need to re-strengthen. I ended up having another caesarean section, so obviously them muscles were well and truly stretched and pulled and everything else. So having the muscles reworked and massaged and the exercises gone through over and gauging what level I'm at and increased personally to my plan was of massive benefit.
What pushed you, and at what point did you know that you weren't going to get any better and you needed to do something, so you had to go for physio? Did you know before the baby or did you wait until after?
Before the baby. I was pretty lucky in that front. I thought it would have to be done. I was heading towards the physio at the NHS, turned around and said it was likely to end up in a wheelchair.
Right.
It was getting that bad. By 30 weeks I was on crutches.
Yeah.
Luckily, by getting regular physio, I managed to keep that, ward that off, and I did need the crutches, but it could have been a lot worse, and I just wish I'd have got the physio exercises in earlier, because that might have prevented me from requiring the crutches.
What was it that Sammy did for you then? What have you been so impressed by over the last... How many weeks have you been coming in now?
Oh, I've had 12 sessions up to now.
Yeah.
I've had 2 bouts of 6. 6 before I had Jessica, and 6 afterwards.
Post, yeah.
And it was just the fact that she took the time to listen to how I'd progressed through the weeks, how I progressed through the exercises, and she moved it to a level which was suitable for me at that stage. She knew she couldn't manipulate me when I was heavily pregnant, so she held that at bay. You know, it was tailored to me, and that's what impressed me. It wasn't just here's a leaflet, go off and do these. It was, right, let's look at where you are, let's assess you and take it from there.
How have you felt then on a scale, and let's not even use a scale, just generally from when you first knew that something was going wrong and your worries started, to how you feel now? Where would you say you're at?
Oh, a million times better than where I was. At the end, I mean, once I'd had Jessica, I couldn't walk. I couldn't do a weekly shop. I couldn't get round the shops. I couldn't do anything. I found it difficult to get up and downstairs. Some days I'd have to spend all day in bed because I couldn't get out of bed.
It's funny because when we do these things and you ask people what was the initial push for physio, it's people expect them to say their back pain or their leg pain or whatever it would be, and it's not. It's because they couldn't push a pram, or it's because they couldn't lift the baby safely, or it was because they were frightened of carrying them out of a cot and dropping the baby, God forbid. So
I couldn't even walk my son into school, and that was a massive push for me. I had to get assistance.
How would you, let's say you were having a coffee, you were going to go for a coffee with a friend later today, and you said to them, I've been for physio, and they just inquisitively said, what is it? What does it do? So to the person that's watching the video now, how would you describe the whole process when you come in for your visits with Sammy or with any of our physios?
Well, with Sammy, she took the time to sit and listen to what my problems were, sat and assessed what stage I was at, and she carefully developed a plan for me to follow. She gave me some exercises that I could do at home, discussed ways of me being able to do it at home without having to buy fancy gadgets and things like that, things that were simple, that were around the house, that I could do when I got 5 minutes to myself. And every time I came back, she reassessed what I was like, if I found them difficult, if I found them hard, or whether they were easy, and if I was starting to get there with them, she would increase it at my pace. It was challenging, it was tough at times, but obviously you need that. It's no pain, no gain at times. However, you know, she never pushed me. She was always checking me to make sure that I was comfortable in what I was doing.
What about the hands-on side of things, the massages and stretches?
As soon as it's done, brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
Well, it's done.
A few hours later, you make a little bit, but then it eases off again and it's much, much better. I can tell the difference since she's been able to be more hands-on postnatal than what she could do antenatal, and it has helped tenfold. Good.
How would you describe your whole experience then? Sum it up from the first time that you found us to where we are talking today.
Fantastic experience. Sammy was invaluable. She's so friendly, so relaxed, approachable. All the staff that I've dealt with within Postnatal Physio has been brilliant. They're always there at the end of the phone. There's the email facility there. You can't go wrong, basically.
All worth it?
Definitely.